If you can see my slide, okay, let me go to the presentation. If you can see that curtain opening, that means you can see my slide. You can see my slide. So thank you for that. And we are going to have awesome time together as usual. As usual. So, this is our first workshop or training for the year. And please fasten your seatbelt because we are going to learn together. What are we talking about during this workshop for 2 days? We're talking about and being HR and being strategic partner in business growth. Anybody that opens up any business, whether private, public, or whatever, there's something, there's a vision, there is a goal, there are things that the person that had that dream started with. And that is what all of us want to learn today. So out of this general theme, that is HR as a strategic partner in business growth, I now brought out this small bit of it, which will throw light into how to be strategic partner in business growth or for any business that we have started. And that's what I've carved out is what transforming HR from administrative support. If you cast your mind back, they always say HR, personnel management, we're just administrative. Far from that. As what Zebediah will say, far, far, far. It is not right. We have gone beyond that. So what we're talking about is transforming HR from administrative support to strategic impact. So what do we want to talk about? That is me. When you get your slide, and those who have attended my session before, you see that there is always something for you on this first slide. I won't tell you, I won't repeat myself, but you get something from that slide. Then the next one, which is let's unpack the agenda. That what are we going to talk about today? What do we want to go away with this topic that we have put before us? We talk about evolving role of HR. HR has gone beyond admin support, aligning HR strategy with business growth, talent acquisition and development, which is very key. All what we have here up to 8 or 7, they are topics, big topics that if we take them for 1 week, we will not have finished talking about this topic at this point. So, but to put them all together, like what we always say, to tantalize you, to make you want to yearn for more. That's what do I do in order to get here? We're already 310. This is awesome. So now we talk from evolving role of HR, aligning HR strategy with business goals, talent acquisition and development, policy compliance and labor relation. When they picket our offices or any office for that matter, what do they say? Say, go and call HR. Let HR come and talk to them. So building a performance-driven culture, fostering innovation and change management, role of technology in HR, we can't rule that out. Then the future outlook. People will talk about the future of work. You see, then we conclude and we discuss based on that. As I always say, please, if you have any question, you can put them in the chat box and we will discuss them. I hope we will have enough time to do that. So, I said, most people will say, oh, I'm a strategic partner because Nigeria we like using big English and all. So I'm a strategic partner. Then the person you are talking to will say, what does it mean? He somehow feel that why should I ask him what does strategic partner mean? They will look at me as if I don't know, like what my Delta people will call Okbetu, that means you don't know. You are just ignorant or ignoramus. So I now said, let's quickly look at what a strategic partner is. Okay, a crucial look. So first, a strategic partner will look at, we align with organizational goals. Anybody that starts any business or whatever organization, they have goals. So what does it do when he's under the when he wants to align with organizational goals? He has to understand the big picture. Why is this organization in existence? Why am I here? Then translating strategy into action. Well, I always tell people that when I learned about strategy some years back, the simple thing that I could take out, and I always tell people, is that the 6 W's and H. If you're able to plot the 6 W's and H, you'll be able to get your strategy right. That is the simplistic and the simplest way that I always sort of define strategy to people. Who does what, at what time, when, okay, where, how. All this will be the things that you are going to talk about when you're talking of strategy. So a strategic partner who wants to align with organizational goal will say, how can we help the company get from where it is now? You see, how has come in, where is has come in, and where it wants to be. Okay? Then a strategic partner will also be proactive in problem solving. When he's able to see, okay, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is the solution? Problem solving. So what does he do? He identifies emerging trends, AI, technology, and all sorts. He suggests innovative solutions, not just solution, innovative, that will move us from where we are, that will close that gap from from where we are, from the actual to the expected. He does that, innovative solutions. Then he does this. He doesn't wait for crisis. He scans his environment, not only the horizon, his environment, anticipate that in the next few months or so, now that Dangote said, or the NNPC said they're not selling crude for naira anymore, things will change. All of us, we were cruising that it will keep dropping, but somewhere they removed the shock, and all of us are running free now. Anticipate changes. That if things don't go on the way we are do, what can we do? Propose solution early so that we'll not be caught napping. Then the third one is influencing decision making, because it's at the table. HR is always in the boardroom, so they will not take anything away from him because he's going to relate whatever is decided or was decided in the boardroom to the people or the employees that are going to execute the action. So he sits at the leadership table, building what credibility, because whatever, if he doesn't do it well, one day they will say, get us the list of those who want to right size. After right sizing on his paper, his name will be the first when they're pushing out the name. So he has to be credible. So he needs to do what? Offer valuable perspective and reliable data so that he'll be able to steer the organization towards the direction where they want. And that is the future. So the fourth one that he does as a strategic partner, because if you are not doing this, don't say you are a strategic partner in any organization. If you are not doing, we have 7 points listed there. If you are not doing 4 out of these 7, please, you are just HR. You are just warming the bench. You are not adding value to the organization. And we want you to add value. That is why we are running this workshop, so that you will know. You say, oh, what are you doing there? You say, oh, I'm a strategic partner. I'm part of those that are moving this organization from where we are to a greater height, to close the gap, and you'll be able to express yourself. Because as a strategic partner, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and we're looking forward to. These are some of the things that we should do. So the fourth one is driving cross-functional collaboration. Within organizations, we have functions, and those functions start from not only our department or wherever, the teams, the teams. The teams that are there, then we have the engineering, we have the safety, we have the L&D, we have all of them. So what does HR do? It ensures that all of them cross-function, that they are there for one another, and that people are not sort of there's no duplication of activities, where thereby wasting money. So what does it do? It breaks down silos, that you can't work alone. All of us are in this together. If this boat capsizes, all of us go down. So it takes a holistic view of the business. So what does it do? It tries to unify different areas of the organization to ensure that success is achieved. Then the fifth one he does is he measures report and impact, measuring reporting system and the impact of whatever we're doing. Okay, and this is where we get what do you call it, this end of year review, or performance management, or what people call what is it now, December APA, annual performance evaluation review, and all those things. So but as modern HR, contemporary HR, we should be moving away from the annual. We should be moving into, is it quarterly or 3 times a year or twice a year at the worst, not once a year, because we call it performance management. We don't want it to be just when things are down, then we are now appraising. No, we want you to improve. We want our employees to improve. That is why he has to have clear matrices, starting from key results area, key performance indicators, then job schedule. All will be built into what each employee is going to do. And there will be strategies on how he's going to, how that employee or the employees will get the job done. So this will lead to what? Continuous improvement, not, oh, at the end of the year, you didn't do well, you did well. Or the person is that type of person that at the maybe by 10th month of the year, he starts running up to be able to achieve. But so many things have gone beyond. So many what has gone past under the bridge. So what do you do? Damage control? No, we shouldn't do that as HR. So strategic partners show how their initiative contribute to financial, operational, and cultural performance of the people in the office or in the organization, employees. So what does it do again? Foster a culture of innovation and resilience, that even when things are down, we should bounce back. We should not let this organization go down. Okay, culture of innovation and resilience. So let them see. Where do we talk about innovation and say, where do we get the money? How do we get people to start innovating? When they go to creativity and innovation, people will say, do we have the money? If they do. So what you need to, as HR, look at this area, research and development. Don't throw it overboard or through the window. Research and development will bring in a culture of innovation and creativity. And they will look at and say, okay, if there is any flaw in whatever people are doing, we should be able to bounce back. And that is the essence of resilience. We will not give up easily. So that means encouraging experimentation within applicable limits, adapting to change, okay, then long-term focus. That if you're able to succeed in this, then we'll be able to make it through. So strategic partner look beyond the immediate output to sustain and scale innovation. So they help the organization to stay competitive and relevant over time. Then the seventh one, strategic partner. We are just creating building block to that topic that we are going to talk about later. So championing values and culture, that means ethics. People will look at some organization and say, even if they pay me 1 million, they are not ethical. They are not ethical. So these are some of the things. Is your organization that organization of choice? A blue chip that the people will say, oh, it's a blue chip organization, but are you doing that which is right? Okay. So upholding organizational ethics, employee engagement and well-being. Now we can joke with that. The Gen Zs, the Alpha generation, the Beta generation, and millennia, the X generation, all of them are in the workplace. What do they want? They want to work for you. They may not work with you, but let's look at, they want to work for and with you. Some of them just feel that I don't have to stay for too long. We're going to get to that later. But what we need to do as HR is that, are we that organization of choice? When people say, oh, that organization, I can work for them, they are doing, when they ask, what do they get me engaged? I'm happy working with them. Then they take care of my well-being. Remember, employee well-being encompasses health, mental health, work-life balance, and some other peps that people will look up to and say, okay, even if they are not paying me much, at least they're taking care of my health. I have HMO, I have this and all that. Some of these we are practicing, but some just look at it. When management tells you, we can't afford to put them in HMO, there's no money. This is There's people who always say that when you feel or when you think training is expensive, try ignorance. If you feel that I'm not going to spend money on them and all those things, by the time you have law, you have the law chasing you, then you know that you need to manage the health and well-being of your staff, of your employees. So the environment must be ethical enough to make sure that we have long-term success from our people. So let's quickly go on. We are building blocks, and that is knowing who you are and who you want to be as a strategic partner. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm a strategic partner." What are you supposed to do as a strategic partner? That's why we had that. So let's quickly look at the introduction. Many organizations in Nigeria, we are all going through all over the world. It is said that when America sneezes, the world develops cold. But nowadays, when China sneezes, the world develops cold. So what do we do? Like, there's no way we will talk about employee management or organizational management and HR without referring to COVID. COVID came and changed the world. So many organizations could not recover from COVID. So many countries are still struggling with their economy. So what do we do? And companies or organizations operate within the country. Okay, so what do we do? Whether we are multinational, large indigenous firms, or thriving SMEs, or even public sector, we face challenges. Why? Because of economic conditions, regulatory complexities, diverse culture, and talent shortage. Shortage? May not be shortage. It's not all of them that are shortage. There's talent migration. Then the shortage can be experienced where we don't have people with adequate skills. In a situation where everybody goes to study business management, where will the doctors be? Where will be the people that will go into research? Where will be the people that so everybody goes into business management or everybody goes into accounting? What do we do? That's where we now have shortage of skills in those other areas. So let's look at it. So HR leaders can contribute significantly to navigating what these issues by aligning people's strategy with that of the business. So sometimes in 2020, Ernest and Young, Ernst and Young, whatever, went into a little bit of research and they came out with this that in a rapidly evolving and disruptive world of work, by 2025, we are here already. 2025, the quarter of a century. Technology such as automation, robotics, and AI will displace 5 million jobs. However, the good news, 97 million ones will be created. What are we talking about? Take a cursory look at what is happening in America. Trump is scattering everything everywhere. He has created so many things. I say they are waste of money. But when you have the right skill, you will be sought after by these people. Okay? So 87 million jobs will be created. 97 million, sorry. 85 million will be lost. So one third of all jobs will change radically. Okay, so what do we do? No matter where you are on the career ladder, it is important to continue learning and developing new skills. Skills, reskilling, upskilling will take us there. It's not only for HR, but for the entire workforce. Because if you don't reskill and upskill them, your organization will be left behind. It is the only way to survive in the 21st century. And we're already into the first 25 years of the 21st century. So what are we talking about? Learnability. That is the desire and capability to develop in-demand skill. And that is what really matters. In-demand skills, not just any skill. Skills that will be part of that 97 million are what will make us indispensable. Have you heard before that accounting, doctor, medicine, HR, and some other jobs. When we finish, I will give you what Bill Gates, I'm sure some of us read it, what he said, that jobs that will be taken over by AI. Not that totally, because he said there will always be the human part of that AI job. Okay. However, if they needed like 100, it will be scaled down to 20. That's where the job losses will come. So we need to look at it. We are going to get to that at the last slide. Also, I'll share that with us. So what do we need? It says skills, in-demand skills. What are the in-demand skills? Skills for learning, skills for life, then skills for work. So because the workforce is changing and changing, so we need to mind the gap wherever we are on the ladder. So we need to be aware, we need to have the knowledge, we need to have the skills acquisition and competence to be able to manage what lies ahead of us. So what is the essence of what we are talking about? When we talk about skills gap, people tend to say, okay, because those who came out of the university do not have the practical skills to be able to man our demand and supply. That is why people always say, let's have the marriage between town and gown. Okay, that means those who need the skills or in their organization will go to organization and say, can you give us this curriculum for those who are coming out? Is it those? So that is the disconnect between skills college between the skills college graduates have when they hit the job market and the skills employers seek in new hires. Is that the essence? Their skills gap will grow, and those people are the ones that HR should watch out for. Not only them, but what of those who are already in the system? Are we going to drive them away? No. These are the people we are talking about upskilling. Some of them have the skills, but what are those things that are missing? Upskilling is what they need. So the essence why HR professionals should update themselves of contemporary issues in the workplace in order to remain relevant and current. It's not only training people for training's sake. You need to look at contemporary issues in HR and in organization and in the world at large so that we become relevant in whatever we're doing. So let's look at this. Thank God all of us survived the 20th century. We are in the first quarter of the 21st century. Say bye-bye to 21st century jobs. Top down, in those days, they said, the MD has spoken. There's nothing anybody can do. No. Competing market share, yes, in those days. Silos functional. That means only those departments or units that you want to relate with are the ones that will be able to relate with. You say, oh, no, we don't have anything to do with sales, or because we are in the back office, we are not in the area where they do production. All this on the left-hand side are what was obtainable in the 20th century. But now, welcome to the future of 20th century is what we are doing now in the 21st century. It was called work, it was jobs, now it is work. Nimble organization, that's why when we were transiting from the 20th century to 21st century, it was called the flat organogram, not that long one, that your line manager is close to you, easily accessible. So I'll be able to communicate with him. New markets are coming up. In those days, what we try to do is that we just once we export our goods, we don't know whether they will be they're acceptable or whatever. But before your goods even leave the shores, you know where it's going and those who are going to receive them. New markets are being created, project-based work. You finish with this before you move on to the other one. You don't lump everything together. People-centric, because if you're not people-centric, they jump on your organization. Trust-based, okay, network and relationship, collaboration is also part of it. Life work. The new generation in the workplace, they don't joke with their life in the sense that they believe that I need to have my life even when I'm at work. Look at the last one there. Compared to the 20th century, when some of us retired 35 years in service, some of us are still there waiting for 35 years in service. But the new generation, they have 10 careers in 40 years. They don't wait for 35 years in service with one career. No, they move. Even if you like, call them Rolling Stone, they move. Some people will say, what am I doing here in the last 5 years, in the last 4 years? Some of them do. Before you count it, Jack Robinson, they have 4 years of work experience. So what's the difference a century can make? What a difference a century can make in whatever we're doing. So 20th century work from to transform to 21st century, the benefits moving from where we were then is that now there's increased productivity and we can measure return on our investment. Okay, because that was in those days, you say, what is this person doing? We can't even get anything from him. But now you can place your hand on what that person is doing. You can place your hand on what he has achieved. You'll be able to measure. Okay, these are some of the data that we talked about, that research and development will help us. Half learning, half, that is half of what we spent. Maybe in those days we used to spend out, okay, people will go out like we are here now. Okay, we are learning about 400 and something people now, about 420, 418 now. In those days, imagine putting those for I had days. I remembered one of the trainings that I had for one organization. I won't mention the organization. The hall was like, hey, like a stadium. I was wondering, I said, will these people would even, they just came to collect their points because they needed those points for their professional growth and whatever. I just looked at them and said, hi. And I say, Abike, you see yourself? I was just like an ant in front of them, standing on the podium. Only those who were in the first four rows will understand what they wanted, the presentation slides. So, but now, when what we will have spent to put 424 people in a training setting and getting everybody to eat breakfast, tea break, whatever, and getting so many things in place. Most of them have been reduced. Reduced. We are just using our data, half learning costs and time. Okay, these are part of what HR and L&D we have been doing. Unlock true potential of people, get more customer and maximize success, deliver customer delight. These are some of the things that we need to manage. And it now leads to what? Super performance. Fewer people are achieving success in whatever we are doing. Still building block. You want to be strategic partner. How do you step in if you don't know what is contemporary? All what people have been talking about, AI, these, that, like modern management, stem from the fourth industrial revolution. Modern management stem from business, what do you call it, MBO, management by objective. Because if you look at back, for those who know management by objective, you look back and you see the small bits and pieces that were removed from management by objective are what we're using. Team building, um, empowerment, engagement, and all sorts came from management by objective. Some of what we are talking about in the 21st century, excuse me, stem from the fourth industrial revolution. Not that the industrial revolution has gone, no, we are still working on it. So, what are those things? Some people say, "Oh, I've heard about fourth industrial revolution." You know, industrial revolution, the first one that they had, all those market, whatever it is, just go back. But the fourth industrial revolution has this in place: extreme connectivity, Internet of Things. Okay, devices, cloud computing, everything, data exchange and all, faster decision making, fourth industrial revolution, automation and intelligence. You see, that is where artificial intelligence has come in. Okay, these are those that are in bold are the areas that artificial intelligence said we can explore, and that is what we are exploring in contemporary HR. Because if you don't, you'll be caught napping. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and all are part of what fourth industrial revolution said would happen, and that is what is there is now in the frontier of learning and HR. So cyber physical system, okay, physical machines, smart devices like our phones. In those days when we used to watch um 007. What is called now? 007, I remember anyway. James Bond. In those days, we used to see when cars will come out from his car will come out from under the water, or we had phones that you could see the people that are on the other side. That one now, even those cat pushers have phones that are Android. They can do FaceTime, they can do everything. So this is what fourth industrial revolution. So you need to understand what fourth industrial revolution is before you become a strategic partner. Because if you don't, you will not be able to comprehend what contemporary issues are. So then emerging technology, some of us are not even there at all. Don't ask me to come and explain what blockchain technology is. 3D printing, some of us know. Some of us know augmented and virtual reality, and eventually quantum computing started about 2, 3 years ago from China. So they're still expanding the frontiers of learning. So those ones that are on our table, remember, HR is part of the leadership table in the boardroom. So fourth industrial revolution goes beyond traditional automation, industrial automation. Oh, once we automate our system, we are part of the industrial revolution. Far, far, far. You're far from it. Far from it. Because there's so many other things. The way technology is changing things is even beyond what we can comprehend. Before you know it, some of us were talking of Chat GPT. Some of us were talking about Meta. But before you know it, some other things have come, deep technology, this and that. I just said, please, just let me stay at the level where I understand that I'll be able to manage and operate what I need to. But as HR, we should not be caught napping. So what does it do? It fuses digital, physical, and biological realms. Beyond that, somebody can sit in North Korea and send missile to America. This is technology. So imagine tornadoes, hurricane, and all those things. They monitor them. They tell you don't come to work. They tell you what to do. They tell you what. So are we there? Ordinary fire outbreak or fire outage, whether it's fire outbreak or fire outage in Nigeria, sends our organizations, our companies back some years back, where some people are light years ahead. So what can we do? I'm not saying we can do all of this as HR, but what we need to do is that continuous learning, agility, that means learning that is on the move, technology that is on the move, that will not make us to be stagnant, so that we remain competitive. There's one of these Nigerian organization that say uh, something local but truly international. They didn't tell me to advertise for them, so I won't mention the name. Something local but truly international. So these are some of the things that if you want your organization to remain local, then you will not be looking at, oh, we are going to West African coast, we are going to East Africa, we are going to wherever. We need to. Some of us should remember nowadays everything is in dollars. If you are able to get the dollar part to match your naira, beautiful. Even the government is not making it easy for us. Naira for fuel, for crude has been dropped. So we need to manage. So the industrial revolution fundamentally alters how work is organized, delivered, and managed for HR. And for HR, this shift is an opportunity to lead the organization transformation by embracing digital solution, focus on continuous upskilling and reskilling, building agile culture that, oh, this is how we do it. We can't change. No, 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 no. You are not agile. If you want to be a strategic partner, you should be on the move. Okay? Championing well-being and inclusion, then the takeaway should be when we do all this, we will be able to plan at the beginning of the year. Remember, we are finishing the first quarter in a few days' time. Have you been able to plan? What are your plans? Even if you plan and there's no money to execute, but you will have done your bit. One way, somehow along the way, somebody will say, okay, can we revisit what HR did and what can we work on? Is very important so that we will remain resilient, competitive, as well as innovative in whatever we are doing. So I want to rush to halfway, then I will now take questions. I can see that people are typing uh, maybe questions or their opinion on this type. So now let's quickly look at, we talked about industrial revolution, we talked about the fourth industrial revolution, we talked about how you can be a successful strategic partner. Okay, so what do we do now? Let's look at, out of all of this, out of all of this, what are those contemporary 2025 issues in HR? Contemporary. You say, I beg, this is Nigeria. How can I? You remember this first slide said Nigeria. In Nigeria, if your organization is multinational, SME, or whatever we are saying tonight will be of help to you, will assist you one way or the other. I said, if things do not even go the way I want, I've planned, which of this plan can I bring out to execute so that I can be part of those people that make it? Okay, so what are the contemporary 2025, not 2020, 2025, that you should be looking out for as HR? Those contemporary, it's all over the world. It will affect you and I whenever we find ourselves managing the workforce. Okay, so hybrid and distributed workforce. Hybrid, I mean, some people will be on site, some people will be work with remote. Though, what's his name? Trump said that all those people that have been working remote should come back. It's not, he was talking to the federal government workers. Some other organization, they sold their offices, they sold their buildings. So what are they doing? They're just working remote. But some organization will still do hybrid, come to work 3 times or twice a week, then the remaining do remote. So all their employees or workforce are distributed all over the world. I was reading something online and someone said, no, it was an advert. He said, as a grammar in Nigeria, you can earn dollars. I said, ah, where is that? Or as a retiree in Nigeria, you can work remote and make dollars. I said, where would that be? So it's very important. Well, distributed all over the world. And there'll be one HR somewhere seated in one corner, managing the hybrid workforce, as well as those who are working remotely all over the world. So hybrid workforce has come to stay since COVID. Talent acquisition and retention in competitive market. What are we talking about? A good example is our medical doctors in Nigeria, the people in medical personnel. They have a jackpot that now one of my young nephew said, "Mommy, they were looking for people that will be in pediatrics or something, pediatric doctors, that they are in short, they have a large shortfall, that in one of these government organized hospitals, they could not even get one." I said, why is that? He said, because they couldn't make them to stay. That is the issue of retention. But acquisition, do you have those that will sit in the bus on the right seat and doing the right thing? Acquire them, you can keep them. Please, it is the work of HR. Upskilling and reskilling for emerging technology. Some people are willing to stay with you. They know what they do, but they don't have the skill. So you take them up. Some people know what they are doing, but you feel that they may be better in another part of the organization. So what do you need to do? Somebody might have studied accounting and is in your organization. He has flair for what is it now called, computer and all those stuff. He knows so much about design and research and whatever. It's okay. Let's send him, instead of going to engage somebody from the outside. Let's get them. How well are we using these people? Let's get that individual, reskill him to be able to fit in into the technology area, instead of going to look inside. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and social impact. Though, what's his name now? Trump has removed this from the social system of America, but it's still there. It's affecting people. Okay, diversity is with us from, is natural, from Garden of Eden, man, woman, age difference. Then equity is not because we are talking of equality, but remember, that equity will give us room for more people to be able to participate when they feel that, oh, you have their interests at heart. So equity does not mean 50-50, but we can look at it and say, okay, remember us. Once in those days, some people will say a woman's place is in the kitchen. Then people now added also in the parliament. No, some people say that so, a woman's place is in the house, and people now said and parliament. So that means not only in the house. So now more men are allowing their spouses to go out there and work. So equity now, Nigerian women were asking the federal government to give us 35%, I think, or that whatever percentage, so that at least let our voices be heard, included in the scheme of things, so that the world will know. Ethical issues of AI in HR. Okay, we want to use AI. What are those ethical issues? Okay, data management, data policy is already coming up, is already in Nigeria. Employee well-being and mental well-being, agile performance management, gig economy. Gig economy will give room for and non-traditional work arrangement. That is part of hybrid. That is part of distributed workforce. More contractors, more people, instead of engaging more people. Like what was started in, was it late 90s or so? Late 90s, that when you want to engage security guards or drivers, you don't engage them as part of your system. You get a contractor who will give you 100 drivers, but they are his staff. Yours is to pay him minimum wage or whatever for those 100, and you put his administrative charges on it. They are not part of yours. They are not the ones that you now keep paying their whatever monthly salary. They are for somebody. These are part of gig economy. You can go and read about it. It's away from the traditional, all of the, how many people do you have on your payroll? You say staff payroll. You have about 20. And in actual fact, you are managing 250 because you are paying for those other people, but they are not your direct staff. Then geopolitical and economic uncertainties and data security and privacy concern. So these are some of the things that are germane for the 21st century. How many of them are you looking at? So let me quickly look at the questions that we have. If I can quickly answer one or two. And okay, good evening, everyone. Can't hear. Which one is this? Was it before? This one was it before, because I can see people that said they could see my slide and could hear me. Let me see if there is any question. Good evening, everyone. Okay, there are no questions here. There are no questions here, so I think I will have this lecture slide. Sure, you will. When you register, you get, yes. We are going to get the resource materials. Yes, please. You will. Very well, you get. If there's Okay, thank you. Okay, employee outsourcing. Thank you. Somebody said employee outsourcing. Exactly, that is it. Outsourcing jobs. Very good. Yes. If you have any issues with connection, okay. Okay, outsourcing. Yes. But there was one organization I worked with or for. They call it insourcing. Insourcing, they said they don't do outsourcing. I said, what do you mean by that? They said they look inwards and get those. They explained it then. That was years back. So they called it insourcing. So, but it's okay. Whether outsourcing or insourcing, please just remember the gig economy and those things that are germane for 21st century workplace. Okay. So it's very important. Thank you so much. So, HR, putting all of this together, I said we were building blocks. If you don't know some of what we have said, then you are not a strategic partner. You are not. You are just still in the dark, wallowing in, oh, this is what it used to be, and that's what we stay. No. So when you put all of this together, let's see what we come out with as strategic business partner. First and foremost, align HR strategy with business goal, workforce planning. In those days, when I was in service, man, it took us a long time. We start planning for the workforce from June. Start planning against next year. Those who are going to retire, those who are going to go based on whatever. Then we say, okay, how many of those are we going to get back? We will take all this to management, to admin and HR. They will compile and be able to see, okay, next year these people are going to go. How who are the people that will come in? Okay, workforce planning is very important. Data-driven decision. Thank God technology has come to help us. You can even ask some of these AI tools, feed in your information, and the AI tools will come back and tell you don't need this person because something can do it. Then you wonder. So it's very important. All the HR of nowadays, you are lucky. Not those days that we could compute. You will sit down and compute. The best you could use then was Excel. So workforce planning and data-driven decision making are very important. Talent acquisition and development. Are you an employer of choice? Employer branding. Gone are the days when people will say, "Oh, I work in the bank. I am an oil and gas person." Nowadays, people will say, "I work for myself." Say, and I'm retiring by 40. You say, eh? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? He said, leave that one. When we get to the bridge, we cross it. Such people, they don't depend on employer branding, but as HR, we need to be able to assist our own organization to acquire not necessarily first class or 2-1 or whatever, but those who are willing to work with us and be able to develop them so that we'll be able to retain them. Okay, recruitment strategies. Gone are the days when HR will be the one to send out the advert, do everything about recruitment and selection and all. You give it out. You give it out nowadays, and they do the good job for it. Okay, you get the best of the top of the pack. Learning, training, and development. This is very important as well because you can look at it as HR. We don't need training, learning, and development. You do, you do. Even if you don't make them a department, make them a unit in your organization. As I always tell people, that HR is like the vehicle. You buy all sorts of vehicles. So, but when these vehicles break down, the mechanic, you take the car to the mechanic. And HR, remember, L&D is the mechanic that will fix those people. People with attitude, people with whatever, they'll be the one to assist you to upskill or reskill. So don't joke with them. So they organize programs, mentorship or whatever program, personalized career development. Gone are the days that you will say, um, I think we are going to talk about uh what do you call it, career planning for somebody or whatever. Talk to the person involved, or else the career path that you are doing is for you. They will not follow the path. They prefer to enter the bush than your path. Okay, leadership academy and continuous learning platform. This continuous learning platform and leadership, not necessarily leadership academy, whatever academy that you set up, please let it be that will have a focus on the business of the organization. Then part of what we are putting together is policy compliance and labor relation. Labor relation we can't joke with because when the chips are down and they now decide to picket your organization, HR, you are in charge of. So policy compliance, if tax people or whatever, remember Nigerian tax reform that is coming up shortly. I don't know whether they are already implementing. Remember, compliance, whether from government or wherever, we need to be able to know, study it well. If you don't understand, get a committee, get somebody that will assist us to get this policy compliance very well, or else you find yourself in big trouble. Okay, and labor relations is something that we need to. That is local labor laws. If you are operating international, you need to talk of the international labor laws. Okay, there was a time that was it Cadbury or which other organization? They said they were not going to buy chocolate, Cadbury chocolate. Why? Because they said they're using children to do harvesting or something of the cocoa plantation or something. So once they are able to, if you are able to do that, and they say they don't want something from your country. They don't want something from your organization. International and local labor laws should be there. Industrial relations. Are you operating in-house union or you are not unionized. Whatever way, always remember there should be ethical and fair practices in whatever we're doing. Building a performance-driven culture. Remember, we said we need performance management system, not what we call the almighty formula, not ones. Okay, so that I'll be able to nip in the bud wherever we have issues. You are not only having issues, we need to you also use that opportunity to recognize and reward those who have done well. So that it will not be that at the end of the year, say the best half of the year is this. And people will say, Abba, Abba, Abba. We know this person now. But once there's a track record, you'll be able to get that, and nobody will say, so leadership development, because we know that one day we all will leave the organization and we move on. So fostering innovation and change management, employee engagement, change agents, and diversity and inclusion. The role of technology in HR, what we are doing now is now taking those issues in contemporary issues. Role of technology in HR, that is HR information system, it should be there in the organization. Okay, there is what we call knowledge management area, which can be under HR. That is then analytics and AI. These are for people that their head is, we call them hot, steaming, piping hot about technology. Put them there and they will deliver. Remote work management, managing expatriate and international talent. If you're bringing in expatriates, please make sure you follow the compliance. That's part of the compliance we mentioned before. Cross-cultural onboarding, that is even within our system. Okay, if you are doing any onboarding, you need to know that, like especially those who are working with the federal government, that there's what you call the federal character. So when you are putting all these people together for onboarding, know how you manage the system. It's like all of us are fasting now, whether you're Christian or you're Muslim or whatever. Especially but the Muslim, you can't go and run a training program in Kano at maybe about 12 or 1 or 2, when you know that everybody will be fagged out, especially with this heat. They'll be fagged out in the sense that they woke up at 3, 4, or 5 to have the early morning breakfast. Then by 10, 12, 11, 1 or 11 or 12, 1 o'clock, some people are tired. Then you now say, come and sit down and listen to one woman talk and talk. I say, I beg, I beg, I beg. This brain cannot take anything. What I'm thinking of is I'll go for my prayer, then after which I go. But I remember some of the there's I don't know whether it's still operational, that during fasting, Muslims close early, maybe about 2. So you now go there and say, yeah, you must stay. We have trained you. You're on your own. Oh. So that's part of this compliance, local cross-cultural onboarding, then localization program. That's of the future outlook of HR in Nigeria. What is that? Strategic workforce planning in emerging sector. One of those emerging sector is what? Fintech. Fintech. That is those who are using technology for their financial activities. They are all there. Paystack, this one that we use, RRR or whatever. So please remember, HR, there are HR in those organizations. How are you managing? How are you contributing to technology in that area? Upskilling and reskilling for digital transformation. Creating sustainable work environment for what? Employee well-being and health management. Then records, research and development. If you don't have research and development, we'll just be working. By the time you find yourself out of your organization, not by going out to do something else, but you relate with other HR and you now start saying something, you say, where have you been? We left that 5 years or 10 years ago. So research, even if it's 1 or 2 people, let them be peeping. That's the story of one man we read in The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. The story goes like this. The man was in a cave, shouting, shouting, shouting. Not him alone. I think about some of them more. They didn't tell us the number. For those who know the story of The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born by one Ghanaian, I can't remember his name now. He said they were all, what did they call it, Plateau Cave or something? So one of them went out. He's always looking at the sunrise. When the sunrise and when he said there's world out there. And he said, I think all of them in that place said he was mad. So one day he went out and he saw the outside world. He never returned because he saw that there is world out there than the cave. I think it's called the Plateau Cave. I can't remember. So each research and development will help us to look out there and say, are we doing that which is expected of us? Are we relating and doing the contemporary things that is expected of us? Don't give room for people to say that you don't know it. So what do we do as HR? What we need to do as HR is we need to manage our talent. They will stay with us or they japa on us. So what do? We need to invest in talent development and succession planning. I always say it that the office will outlive the worker. Okay. Then HR professionals should design programs targeting high potential employees, leadership development, and mentorship opportunities. So what do? You attract the talent, you develop the talent, you recognize them, encourage them, and reward them. And with that, you will retain them. In the retention will be good. Let's quickly look at one or two questions. Yes. Okay, the beautiful ones are not your one. Thank you, Agnes. Okay. Thank you, Agnes. Okay. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yes, this is Mr. Gideon here.
Mr.
Please,
Gideon, good evening.
yes, Mr. Gideon, ma'am. We need to go back. There's a quite number of questions that have been thrown at you while you are speaking.
Okay,
Maybe
please
I
go.
wanted, yeah,
Louis.
one of it is that you have a corporate body with 200 staffs and
Yes.
one HR officer in charge
Yeah.
of 200 staffs.
Yes.
You want your input on that. Then the one is AI taking the jobs of normal human beings. What do you say about that? That's true. Maybe I should allow you to take care of those two, then later I'll bring in the rest too. Thank you.
Okay. The first one that 200 staff, there are not too many for one individual to manage. One person, you are not the only one in HR. What you do is use your team um team management, and what we said before is that as HR, don't create silos. Break down the silos. What do you need? We're taking care of it's not one department that is in your organization. Okay, you have engineering, you have what do they call the sales, you have some other places. Use the people, use in quote to assist you to achieve. If you now look at it that I'm HR, I'm the only one that can do it. Even within the HR, there are some other people. So those other departments, remember we said cross-functional activities, break down the silos. Use the people that are heading the other department. How can we manage? You remember I mentioned line managers that will assist you to identify what that individual needs. And you now bring up whatever he has identified and gives to somebody in HR, not directly you. And those people will be the ones to collate. They may not even get to you. Maybe something from research and development, they will help you there. So what is wrong with one HR to manage 200 staff? It's up to you to manage the staff that are in HR department to get you what the results that you want. So you are the only HR. You are going to represent HR department in the boardroom. But please don't say it's one person to manage 200. And when you have organizations, you have uh, big organization, they say director HR. Eh? So if the director HR is doing it, do you now say one person managing 1,000 people? Of course not. Use your team and cross-functional team. Then the other one that HR will take our job. Don't be afraid, please. And I said it when I started.
AI.
AI, sorry. AI taking our jobs. Forget it. If you're able to upskill and reskill yourself, I've heard people say that, yeah, me, I cannot use the laptop is this. Where is your chat GPT? This small phone that we have is a computer on its own. We don't even get to use one tenth of it. We don't get to use one tenth of it before they will say, Samsung Fold Kiniko has come out. Then you drop that one and go and buy because we want to belong. Have you used that one very well? How many of us know about ChatGPT? And even if you use ChatGPT, do you know there are different levels? If you use the general one, you'll be talking the general thing. How many of us use is it Meta and all those things? Please AI will not take your job if you don't, it will only take your job if you don't upskill and reskill yourself. Okay? There are some of my colleagues that they don't even know how to do presentation slides. There's so many in ITAD, I'm sorry talking about that now. In ITAD, we have been concentrating for the past how many months? We do webinars. How many months? If you want to belong, you need to know the AI tools. All those, if we bring in specialists to come and tell you about AI tools, so that you will not say, this AI, hey, I'm afraid. Oh, don't be afraid. All these things I'm talking about, are they from this my small head or big head? Of course not. Here and there, here and there. And you have to use it to your advantage. Remember, I said I'll show you, I'll give you what Bill Gates said last week. Was it last week or this week? After I submitted my presentation, I saw it. He was laughing. He said, it is the lazy ones that AI will take their jobs. The lazy ones. Because he said that, and that is what I've been saying. Me in my ignoramus, I tell people, I said, even if you put AI there, it is human brain that they put in the AI. It will just be able to gather everything together. Because even when you're using some of those sites, you'll be reading something, it says reasoning. The machine will be saying reasoning. By the time he finishes telling you what to do, he said, I reasoned this in 5 seconds. It's not him that read. He was able to, like what we call search engines in those days, put everything together and give you the answer. So what you need to do is use AI to your advantage. Don't use it and say, oh, or don't just be afraid of it. You will see it at the end of it, and please you take note of it because it's not in what will be sent to you. I saw it after I submitted. So please, AI is not going to take your job unless those who are lazy. Even the big man himself said it. He said it. Bill Gates said it. So please don't don't be
Uh,
afraid.
all right. Thank you, man. I give you two more quickly. So can you throw light between personnel management and human resources? So I noticed that these days you hardly hear about personnel management.
Mm.
That's one. Two, said when you say recruitment by contract, they won't that amount to outsourcing HR responsibility?
No, outsourcing some of these things does not mean that you are giving your role as HR to contractors. No, like somebody said that is the only HR managing 200 people. You are not giving out your job to them. There are certain things, like I gave you the example of drivers. I gave you the example of which other one did I say now? And let's take the driver. Security. Imagine carrying 200 of, oh, no, 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 in all your sites, security and drivers. You are carrying them, you are going to pay their pension, you are going to pay for so many things that you are giving your permanent staff. Pay the contractor whatever you need to, or you have agreed to, and they will take care of them. They are their staff. Okay, you giving them your culture that this is what we do and this is what we agree to. Okay, you are not outsourced, you are not giving out your job. There's so much for the HR. It's only a lazy HR that will say, if I give it out, then what will I be doing? You're lazy. I'll tell you. I'm not saying I'm quoting ex-president. I'll say lazy Nigerian youth. You're lazy if you just feel that you are giving your job out by outsourcing some of this thing. It will give your people more opportunities to do what they need to do. Follow their job schedule, follow their KPI, follow their key results area, and be able to achieve. Please don't ever say that. Then the other one, what was that? What was that? Somebody
That
what the
throw light in personal management between
Okay, okay,
personal
okay, okay,
management and human
okay,
resources.
okay. Personal management in those days it used to be personal managers and all those things. If you attended one of some of our induction, you have got the difference between personal management and human resource. Human resource is the bigger umbrella. It takes care of so many other things. It's holistic. Whereas personal management now comes under HR. Okay, HR is the new name, bigger name for personal management. Personal manager has just something small to do in HR, probably recruitment and some administrative areas in HR. Okay, so please, there is a world of difference between the two. Personal management is a smaller bit of human resource management now. Okay, Any other questions, sir? Okay, so let's quickly take this. So let's take, as I said before, that HR has changed. The world has changed since post-COVID. So what are the key to what are the uh, s- um, successes that people can get from post-COVID pandemic, post-COVID-19 pandemic? So one, it has made us to be more aware of emotional intelligence. It was there before, but how do we manage it? You see that so many, maybe at least once in 2 months or once in 3 months, you just hear somebody jumped into the lagoon. You say, why? And they will say, the person had a good job. It's not only money. People could not manage their emotions. You need to develop an agile mindset that uh, man no die, man no rotten. We will move. Agile mindset that things keep moving forward. Don't just be stagnant and say, oh, what can I do? You need to look at it and see, keep moving forward. And a mindset that will not stay static. Okay, customer-centric approach. These are the things that COVID has exposed us to. You need to now be aware of your customers. In those days, in the COVID era, that time that was lockdown, people were working. Instead of them to say, okay, people now started delivery at home, and it has come to stay. Even in Nigeria, you see people online. They don't have shops. They don't have stores. They sell online. They deliver at your doorstep. Okay? And you get what you want. But some people say what I ordered and what I got. And in some areas, yes. But for whatever, when the person is credible, when the supplier is credible, you stick to them. Okay? People started doing so many things, especially with our generation X, generation Z, millennia. They become so versatile. So and more of their customers. Okay, digitally enabled. They've used uh, technology to their advantage. So what do we need to do? The key to success: skills to do, come of doing. If you sit, the wind will blow past you. Knowledge comes by eyes always open and working hands. There's no knowledge that is not power, and that is Ralph Emerson. That is what he said. Knowledge, eyes, working hand, power. You are powerful. Okay. Top management must buy in. Remember, HR is on the leadership table in the boardroom. So you must be able to fight your cause. Fight in court to be able to get things done. Be active participants. Link all HR efforts to needs. Because when you talk of needs, don't just give people anything. Do that to be for our research and development. Identify the needs so that you don't throw money away. Okay, needs of the people, and link it to strategic objectives of the business. Then you become a strategic partner. So that is why Michelangelo says, at 80, Angora Umpara. I still learn. At my age, I still learn. Some of what I know, some younger generations don't know. Why? Because they just stick to TikTok. They go on Instagram to see they are following this person. That person you are following, what knowledge, what value have you gained from there? Learn. Learning through change, embrace diversity, lead inclusively, and lead virtually. We can't do without virtual learning. Before we end, remember the following. What I call the takeaway. Excuse me. Align all HR strategies with broader organizational objectives to ensure a highly skilled and agile workforce, not workforce that will sit down and say, we are waiting 30 days, make a pay. No, 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 no. Put them on their toes. Like some people, when I was in service, people will say, this target that they gave us is too much. Oh." And our guys then will say, you want me to give you a target that you finish in 1 month, and what would you be doing? So you give them stretching but achievable targets. So what do? They have They have technology at their disposal. Employ data-driven insight to improve recruitment, retention, and performance management. Embrace technology to automate routine tasks. Okay, enabling HR teams. That is where you say one person for 200 people. You have not started. When they take you to blue chips company, you will see that you need to manage them. To focus on strategic initiatives, foster inclusive culture that tap into Nigeria's diverse workforce for better innovation and productivity. Continually update policies and training programs to reflect shifts in labor markets and regulation and technology. Then, in summary, what do we do? In Nigeria dynamic business environment, HR's evolution from purely administrative function to a strategic partner is accelerating. They will ask you when you even get to the boardroom, HR, what are you doing? L&D, what are you doing? Are we just putting money down the drain? Money is hard to come by. By shaping organizational culture, ensuring compliance, developing talent, driving innovation, HR professionals are indispensable for businesses aiming to achieve and sustain growth. So put yourself there, chase the bullet, and you get there. Okay? As Nigeria economy diversifies and globalizes, companies that leverage HR as strategic force rather than a support function stand the best chance of thriving both in local and international markets. Not the final word. I said summary, but not the final word now. What is CANEI? Is an acronym for continuous and never ending improvement. That is the short, that is the acronym that you can use for upskilling and reskilling. Continuous and never ending improvement. So to be a strategic partner is to have a seat at the table in the boardroom where major decisions are made. Two, to influence and drive when you come out with the policies, drive the business trajectory, and to measure and communicate that to the workforce. Two, by aligning functional strategies, function, what are those functions? Departmental, okay? Each department has its own function. So you have to align each function, not person working this way and another working that way. No. With overall business objective, strategic partners become essential architects. You are there when they are drawing this in the boardroom. You are there with employee workforce planning, excuse me, workforce planning. You are part of the people that will draw this. You are part of the people that will dot the I's and cross the T's and say, no, this one should not be there, this one should be here. You'll be part of the architectural drawing. Then you now proactively shape on the organization so that we'll be able to achieve what we need to do. So these are questions for all of us. You take it home and look at it. It's it comes up with GEEN. And what is that? Are you green? Are you green? And green means is an acronym for grow. Grow at least 3 areas of your professional scope. List at least 3 areas your professional scope has grown within the past 1 year. Okay, do that. And you know that all of us are in a WhatsApp group. Oh no, well, sorry, Telegram. You can ask for help. That is part of why that group was created, as for people to mentor you. Reinvent the ideal learning professional needed for current demands. Remember the contemporary issues. How do you measure in all of this? Explore. That means name one industry topic you have explored within the past 1 year. Because the world is changing, the world of work is changing at a speed that we cannot even catch up with. What did you discover? What action did you take? Use your research and development. Even if you don't have for now, get people to know Those of us that are in the same industry, what are we doing? What are they doing that we are not doing? And they are there. Do we run to Ghana? No. We stay in Nigeria. Like some of my friends will say, we stay here, we die here. Are we here together? 3, educate. How's your current knowledge ensuring you are relevant in this field? Thank God you have joined this institute. You'll be able to get value for your money. What can you do to improve yourself? What can you stop doing that has not added value? What can you do to move forward? What do you do to be able to rekit yourself? Then, what are the next steps to take? Based on your responses of the 4 above, what are your next steps? What action will you take? By when? With whom? And whom would you be accountable for? To yourself or to manage the organization? So, get ready to enhance to what? To embrace the birth of a new future for you and for your organization in order to be a strategic business partner. Go back to the first few slides that we have. Am I a strategic partner in my organization? The future belongs to a very different kind of person with a different type of mindset. Drivers of a new dawn. We have just spent a quarter of the century of a new dawn. Who are they? Because they are the ones that believe success is beyond the classroom. Okay, we need to engage and inspire people to continue on their learning for higher level. Social technologies or whatever technology should be there for us to practice. Use whatever it is, whether training, whatever you can, not necessarily gamification, to be able to engage people that we are customer-centric organization. Given the demographic shift in the workplace, remember the baby boomers are almost out. Who are the next person? The Gen X. They say Gen X 1, 2. We have the millennia. We have the Gen Z. We have the Alpha. Some people are even saying we have the beta now, the beta generation. So look at it and see what you can do. These are the people that will manage the organization for us when we go. Finally, it is time for a new generation of leadership, HR, essentially, to cope with new problems and new opportunities. But there's a new world to be won. That was said by J.F. Kennedy. Reinventing oneself requires what? Focusing on what is around you and learning to capture the essence of an observation so that it can be transferred to a new set of skills. Skills has come up again. Skills, you can't do without it. It consists of showing a better way by example. HR, are you a strategic partner? HR, are you there for the organization? Are you there? For life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about what? Creating and recreating yourself for the future that we are looking at. So, look at the last. For those who can take screenshot, number 8 was not, number 7 and 8 were not part of for the further readings because I got some of these things after I submitted. 7 and 8, ChatGPT 01, Meta AI, Copilot, and all of them. Then look at the one I said Bill Gates says, take this, copy it, and put on what is it, Chrome, and you get what Bill Gates says about this. No doctors, no chef. Bill Gates just named the 3 jobs AI can't replace for the moment. For the moment. And that is when I read it, I said, yeah, my people need this. So thank you so much. The 460 people on the beat, I appreciate you and I really thank you for attending this. Don't ever miss it whenever we call, when the institute calls, be there to get it for free once you are a member. Okay, so my brother Gideon, do you have
Yes, yes, ma'am. Quick one, quick one. In the
yes,
working, this is from David Asuko. Said
I
in
did
working
what?
environment. I said this is from David Asuko.
Asuko, yes.
He said in working environment where the CEO
Yes.
has a HR an HR unit but never adhere to any suggestion made, what could that do to the HR personnel and how can they thrive over this?
You see, the problem with HR is that you see that when you work with one man business, he will tell you that he knows what he's doing. You can't force me to do what I don't want to do. I've seen some owners of business that have told their HR and employees or someone that say, where were your parents when I was starting this business? But for whatever it is worth, if it's not going to add value to you and it's going to give you mental health issues, please japa from that organization. He knows how he wants to. We have seen people that will say that this organization, excuse me, let me blow my nose. Sorry, I have cold. I have a cold, please. So some people will say that this my business is for my family. So do what you want to do and get out. So in that type of situation, you just feel that this is not the place for me. Okay. If it's going to give you mental issues, please move on. Okay. Life does not start and end with that person or that organization. You need to manage your life and the life of those people that you want to. So this what you need to do. Try what you can. Make sure, I always tell people, please document whatever you can. Because he can turn around one day and say, don't mind that HR. They didn't deliver. Well, doesn't know anything. You don't know anything? No. So please, whatever it is, do your best within the ambit of what you are given and what you are allowed to do, but document it. Document it. It's very important. Always document. Documentation, I never joked with that when I was in service. In those days, we used to have what we call the refile, and we have the what do we call it now? There's one other. Not it's not the secret file, oh. Flimsy. Flimsy. Yes. Flimsy's file. There, the Flimsy's file will have something that you feel is very important. It's already in the regular original file, but I need to keep a watch over it in case somebody comes and says this is it, and you can't trace that and say, go look for it. But nowadays, most things are soft copies. But for whatever it is that you know is a create some of these things, please send them to the cloud. Okay? Send them to the cloud because you never can see the day you recall and get them out. Say it wasn't there that I say, well, okay, sir. Okay, sir, I will get it. Please, please don't put your health or whatever on the line if they don't want to change. This normally happens mainly with one man business and probably small bit of it in public because you can't do anything. You can't do anything. See my name to your staff or employees when you are in public service, unless it's a case of gross misconduct and you cannot send that person away. You have to follow the due process before you get to that point to sending the person away. Okay. Any other question? Excuse
Yes, ma'am. Along the line, the public space that you just mentioned now,
me.
there's a particular one. Said, how do we apply these options? Some of these options we mentioned by way of strategy in the core civil service, where corruption, nonchalant
Eh,
attitude, and
eh,
whether
eh, eh, eh. Leave us out
ah,
of corruption, please. We don't want to talk
thank
about corruption, please.
thank you.
No, 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 no. Some of these things are relative, okay? Because in those days, they said, if America tells you they are a thief, know that the world will believe they are a thief. But with the recent things that are happening, people are even moving away from their democracy. With what uh, Trump is doing, people are saying, don't you develop our homegrown democracy? People are attacking US now, and he's even afraid himself because he's saying, if you go against what I have said as EU or British or Canada or something, I will slam you with most tariff. If small South Africa is challenging Trump, Greenland is saying you can't come here. We are past the era of colonialization. Please don't talk about corruption and all those things. Corruption is everywhere, everywhere. So he's a person that is caught that is a thief. So please, we will not bring that to our forum here. Corruption, let it be for them. Do what you need to do to be able to manage within the ambit of what you are given. Please, we won't talk about corruption in public service. I know they inside though. My own is
Thank you very much, man. Like you said earlier, if some of our people have been following some of the training, some of the things we've been doing, even doing inductions and all that, you notice that some of these things have been mentioned on several occasions, which will definitely have passed some right information across. Okay. As a follow-up again, in an organization where staff welfare is not a management priority, and sincerely, I want to doubt where a company that will have welfare of staff as not a priority. Then I don't know how you want to get the best out of them. But let me just give you the question so that you take care of it. Said in an organization where staff welfare is not a management priority and employees feel less motivated, what role should HR play to balance the organizational goals with employee satisfaction and productivity?
one thing that I always tell people is that when you are going into the organization as HR or you've been there for a while, what you can do is make sure that you have employee staff handbook. Even you don't have to have union. Once you present that on your whether maybe midstream of your career or when you are going in and whatever, always let the people know that, not the people, the management people know that we need to do what? Have a handbook. It's not Oyinbo market that people will do whatever they want or whatever. Let them know that where your right starts is where another person's right stops. This is what we can afford. When they are coming in and you are doing onboarding or orientation for them, these are some of the things that you throw at them. If you know sweet your belly, please waka. If it is okay, let them have the employee staff handbook. Oh, if not, they will cost you your father, your generation that have gone and the one that are coming. That is HR that is not helping us. HR is a wicked man because they are eating the money. It's not you. But if you can, go get staff handbook, look around, put all together, give to them. Even if you have been there, they say, HR, why are you coming with staff handbook? You say, okay, for us to get the best out of these people, let's see what we can do. They may not agree to everything that you have put there, but at least they will know that there's something that is going to help them to get there. That will make you a strategic business partner. Okay? Because you say you are looking, this is not where we should be now. When we have stand our book and people are ready and willing to work with us, we will be the best, we'll be the employer of choice. Thank you.
All right. Second to last one, man, please. Second to last one. Why are some HR practitioners indifferent and selective in the implementation of psychological contracts? Why are they indifferent about this contract here?
Contract, psychological contract. Did you say psychological contract?
Yes, ma'am. In some companies, I'm sure you understand me. I have it there by Dr. Okochi. I want to believe that it's a point in case, or it's a case in point. I want to believe so because it seems a bit direct. Because I want to believe that why this question is important to me also is some are being very careful, not that they're indifferent. They're dependent on the leadership of the company, the ownership of the company, especially when it's privately owned. You cannot expect the HR to just confront the owner. You have to, most of will come in advisory form. We have to come in advisory form professionally. You cannot chastise your boss. You have to, like you said, you have to know how to put your points across in the right way so that he can understand you. If you come as if you are challenging his or our authority, you're not likely to go through. You're not likely because you feel that who are you? I'm paying your bills. But if you take your time to strategically present your case and let he or she know that this is not ethical in business, if you must sustain, somehow he or she will see your point that you're trying to talk about the growth of and sustenance of the business. I'm
Yes.
not just being particular about whether I'm treating my staff well or not. So you cannot tell the person so. So you have to, that's what I'm saying, that the effect of that contract is in psychology. How to bring it across, how to penetrate it, how to conclude or provide preferential suggestion to your boss in area of the contract. That's why that's where I'm taking it from. Thank you, ma'am. I
Thank
don't
you.
know if you want to say add something. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I go align with your thoughts. This my small head, no big head. Can
Yeah.
only can only take as much. Okay.
All right. The last one. I've taken it. I've answered the person, but the person keep posting it. He said, "Man,
Mm.
can we possibly get HR strategy template from you?" And I
Ah.
said, "This is becoming very direct and personal." And I
Mm.
said, "It has to do with the nature of the company. HR strategy is not fixed. It's not cast of stone. It has to do with the nature of the business you are running. If I say you must come by 8 o'clock, if it's where they are running shift, I cannot tell the person that's on afternoon shift to come by 8 o'clock. So it has to be, if I say, okay, you cannot do this in the company during the day, it depends on the nature of the company. Though there are some that are very universal, we know. Contract papers, get your documents, staff notebooks, staff booklets, handbook that you said earlier, and all that. Those ones are there. But there are some things that you can use to normalize operation that cannot be cast on stone. Yes, ma'am. Your input, man, because I think they
Yes,
still want to hear from you.
my input, you see, if you check the last slide, I said technology to your advantage. Technology to your advantage. You pay for it. Go on some of those sites. Impute what you do, your organization is doing. Ask the AI tool, I want a template for this my organization that I've listed, whatever. Honestly, wallahi lie, you will get that will suit your own, your own. Okay? It will not be generic, your own. So I can't sit here and say we need a strategic template. Remember, the life world has gone beyond that. That I'll come back and say I use this. All those things that I paid for when I was on training in some, they are now obsolete. If you pay for some of these sites, not the generic one will give you generic thing. But if you pay for some of them, Abba, you will get something that will suit you. You will even be saying, this one is too much now. Please, thank you so much. Okay, I can't. I can't. I'm not AI. Eh? Thank you. I can only give my example, personal
All
example.
right. Thank
Thank
you very much, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. This has been very exciting, very revealing, very educative, and refreshing also. I want to believe strongly that everyone present has enjoyed all the notes. In fact, some have said a lot of things about you, that they love the zeal, they love the tenacity, they love the power behind the voice and all that. And so many things you've said that I want to believe that everybody here is impressed with. We pray that God will keep strengthening you
Amen, sir.
and will keep guiding you
Amen,
and
sir.
keep keeping you for us because we want to keep hearing you and keep you fresh for us. And one thing about you, man, like I want our people to hear is that Madam, she goes extra mile because of us. She goes extra mile because of us. And that is why whenever she comes up, you and I, as you say, in this training, we understand that, in this workshop, we understand that she's at the tip. She's always there to make sure that what is relevant is what we get. And just make sure, I'll leave you with it, make sure you apply them. Please make sure, try to apply them. Don't just hear for hearing sake. Don't just write them down. Don't just have the slide. You're going to get the slides, but don't just keep them. Please, we want you to apply them and get results. We want to hear your testimonies in the office. Send it in to share it, to our email and even to the platform you're going to be added. They're not there yet. Please send it there. Let others hear your testimonies of how effective the trainings, the sessions you had, how effective they have been to your company. Because that is the essence. It's not because, like I said, for those of you that know this voice, it's not about certificates, it's about certificate. It's about certificate, and that's what helps our companies. What you sabi and you apply, and it brings results. Definitely, you'll be on your, you'll are putting your A game, and you're going to help the company at large. So on this note, madam, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you very
brother.
much.
Somebody still said Jessica Omomi says, how can a surgical she still came down. He said they have not answered that question. How can a surgical practice manager apply the tips you mentioned about HR strategic plan? Use those strategic plans that we started earlier. Put your job in there and see what can I do. Okay. What the first three or four slides or first between whether first 10, just see, put go look for surgical practice manager. What does it do? Then now go back to those strategic partners plan that you have said. What can I do as a surgical practice manager? When we are done, I will check what surgical practice manager does so that I'll be able to apply it. But I can't come back and answer that for you now since I don't know what a surgical practice manager does. But please go look, put it on, even if it's ordinary chat GPT, it will tell you what you can come about. Thank you. Thank you,
All
Jessica.
right, all right, all right. I earlier responded to that person
Yes, you did. You
that
did.
just put it on AI. One thing is this, see, I know we are HR here, but we try to touch as many that we are graced to have understanding of what they operate. But the one that is not directly involved that we can't pick, we don't try to manufacture one. That is why I love, you can see Madam's response too. You have to go put it in there, get the details, then structure it to ask yourself, then work with it. You now see yourself being effective as that professional that you are. With your profession, with your human resource professionalism, you see it putting you at the edge. That's exactly what we are here doing. And I want to appreciate Okiki Ogoluwa. Good to have you, Samuel. I can't mention everybody. Ada Nwanekezi, Adebimpe, Adefemi, Adejoke, Adekola, Adereni, Adesayo, Adesumbo. This is about 400 and something people. So I'm just calling names randomly. Aruajo, Yola, Augusta, and all that. Boniface, Chike, Cornelia, Deborah, you know, Dr. Difference. I love that name, Dr. Difference. Okay, Dr. Chineye, Dr. Bukola. Good to have you guys. Ebose, Eburu, Edith, Felix, Franca. Thank you very much. I call you too. iPhone. All of you, showing iPhone. So that's your name for tonight. iPhone. Then there's iPhone Joshua, iPhone 3. That's good. We want to thank you all for being a part of tonight. Secretary, thank you very much for the privilege to do this. Thank you very much, Madam, once again. Thank you, management team. Thank you, the board, for giving us the opportunity. We want to say that when next you have this call, please, like Madam said earlier, take advantage of it, link up, and make sure you are part of it, and the benefits will be enormous. Thank you very much again. God bless you. The Lord that brought us here will give us good night's rest and will be strong again tomorrow. God bless you. Really good, my prayer. Have a wonderful evening. My name remains Gideon Olubili. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.